White Lotus' sister-in-law played the victim to drive Mom away, thinking she could join the family. Instead, I commiserated and asked Grandma. Aunt Lily said I'm a burden and to give me a brother to lean on. Grandma, what does burden mean? Grandma blushed instantly. It means a dumbass like her who destroys other people's families. You're not a burden. You're Grandma's treasure. I leaned into Grandma's arms, slowly curling my lips. In her previous life, she took advantage of my soft heart in young age, and colluded with her lover to push me alive into an iron pot to cook me to death after she married Dad. This time, I'd like to see what she can do to fight with me. Point 1. Since I was born, I was made the sole heir of the van der Linde family by Grandma. Even Dad had to wait until I turned 18 to return the company to me. Grandma and Grandma were childhood confidants, and Grandma lost her life trying to save her. But Grandma asked Dad to marry Mom to make up for her. But Dad's uninhibited love of freedom broke Mom's heart. And Grandma couldn't help but give me all the properties of the van der Linde family. After Mom left, Dad came to his senses, but he couldn't get Mom back. So to make up for the loss of her love, he invited Mom's best friend, Aunt Lily, to his home, where she treated me well, not only by asking for my warmth, but also by kicking out the kids who were bullying me and scolding me for being a motherless child. Aunt Lily scolded the bully for being a motherless child and demanded an apology from him. I was so touched by this that I personally went to Dad and begged him to let Aunt Lily be my mom. Dad nodded his head and agreed for my sake. Behind the scenes, he also asked Aunt Lily to have her fallopian tubes removed to ensure that I would be the only child in her life. On the surface, she nodded her head and agreed. But she got the hospital to make a false report that she was born with a thin uterine wall and was almost unable to get pregnant, and tried to hook Dad into doing hate with her. It wasn't until I bumped into her taking folic acid that Aunt Lily cried and said to me, "Auntie has a stomach ache and has to take medication to recover. Can you not tell Dad and Grandma?" I nodded my head yes, only to hear her on the phone with a man in the middle of the night when I was going to the bathroom. That damned girl bumped into me taking folic acid. And now she must be removed immediately. How dare a burden compete with the male child in my womb for the family fortune? It's out of her depth. Shocked, I pulled my legs out and tried to run but was pushed down to the 3rd floor. I didn't expect to die, but fell brain into an intellectually disabled. In order not to be accountable, she pretended to save me, fell downstairs. Underneath the body trickled open a large blood. She cried that she didn't know she was pregnant, and said that even losing a child was far worse than not being able to save me. And that Dad was too blind to see her ruse. Only Grandma sensed something was wrong and wanted to take me to overseas for treatment. But she whispered to me that Grandma was a cannibalistic old hag who took me to overseas just to prolong her life. I was too young and too brain damaged to tell the difference. And when I saw Grandma, I cried out in fear. Seeing this, she knelt down directly in front of Dad. "I'm willing to take care of Bao for the rest of my life. And I'm willing to have another child to use as a crutch for Bao so that he can take care of him forever." She was in tears and was also willing to sign the agreement that all the properties were not related to her. Lily Green was good at disguising herself and treated me as she had for many years. But the year after she gave birth to our son, she tricked me into going to overseas under the pretext of letting me enjoy the artificial hot springs. And together with her lover, they boiled me alive. I was boiled flesh and bones separated. Cannot see the half-human appearance. Grandma learned of my death instantly on a heart attack, passed away. Dad repeatedly investigated, but she has long been all the tale clean up. Until Dad said that after his death, he would donate all his property to charity. She only revealed her footsteps and wanted to lay hands on Dad. But Dad was prepared. She will be a knife cut alive to avenge me. Watching Dad turned himself in, I cried so much I couldn't help myself. I thought my life would be over like this. But I didn't expect to open my eyes again and actually go back to the time when everything hadn't happened yet. Grandma's voice was ice cold. You said that you loved Xiaobao and were willing to take care of her for the rest of her life. But now Xiaobao is lying in the hospital with her life and death unknown. You must give me an explanation. The familiar voice stopped me from shivering. Snapping my eyes open, I found Lily Green kneeling in front of Grandma with tears in her voice. Old madam, everything is my fault. It's my negligence. I didn't realize that I was pregnant. And at that time I missed the best time to pull Little Treasure when my body suddenly fainted. I dare not ask for your forgiveness, but I beg you to let me see Little Treasure again. Grandma lifted her eyes impatiently. Xiaobao is in great trouble. Who are you? A jinx. To go and see her. Didn't you claim that you couldn't get pregnant in the first place? Now how come you're pregnant again? Is it hard to be someone else's illegitimate child? The familiar scene awakened my memory. It was the day Lily Green pushed me down the stairs and made me intellectually disabled. Grandma was furious and wanted to banish Lily Green to the overseas, and had arranged for someone to torture her. But when I woke up, I couldn't remember anything but that Aunt Lily was very nice to me. As soon as I saw that Grandma was sending Aunt Lily away, I immediately cried and screamed. Thinking of all the things that happened after I left Lily Green behind, I immediately looked at Grandma in a confused and helpless manner. Who are you guys? Lily Green immediately tensed up the moment she heard me speak, afraid that I would tell the truth. But soon she realized that I had a demented look in my eyes and a slight stutter in my speech. A bold guess surfaced in her mind, and Lily Green tried her best to hold back her tears as she jumped in front of my hospital bed. Xiaobao, it's me. I'm your Aunt Lily. Don't you remember? I looked at her doubtfully and didn't say anything for a long time. Just as Lily Green breathed a sigh of relief, I spoke crisply. Of course I remember you. Lily Green stiffened and even trembled a little. Yet she was still forcing a bitter smile towards me. Grandma immediately glared at her and turned her head to ask gently, Xiaobao, the window was so high. How did you fall down from upstairs? Remember? Lily Green's forehead sprouted bean-sized beads of sweat, and her body shook like a sieve. I pretended to recall, and suddenly spoke when Lily Green finally couldn't help but want to run away. Don't remember. Little Treasure only knows that Aunt Lily tried very hard to pull me, and saw Aunt Lily fall and bleed. Ugh. Will Aunt Lily die? Lily Green steeped a sigh of relief, turned to hold back tears fake and said, even if I give my life for Xiaobao, it doesn't matter. Aunt Lily only hoped that Xiaobao can be healthy and happy. At this time in my previous life, I only had Lily Green on my mind. And as soon as I opened my eyes and saw Grandma's snappy look, I instantly cried in fear. And cried for Grandma to get out of the way. Grandma was very hurt but could only hide in the dark for the sake of my emotions. This time, I didn't do anything to hurt Grandma like I did in my previous life. Instead, I hugged Grandma tightly, looking at Lily Green trying her best to act. I couldn't help but snicker in my heart. It's too boring to expose her directly. It's boring to expose her outright. It's the most ruthless way to bring someone up to the highest level and then bring her down to the lowest level. I would like to see who is more skillful. Dad, who is negotiating a $10 billion partnership with overseas, finally took a private jet to the hospital. As soon as he saw me lying weakly in the hospital bed sleeping, he immediately looked at Lily Green with violent anger. I just left the country in the morning. How come in less than 5 hours? Xiaobao is hurt like this. Lily Green covered her stomach and pretended to be tender. Indeed, it was my negligence. When I reached out to save Xiaobao, I was a bit dizzy for a moment and didn't pull back. Lily Green looked at Dad with anticipation in her eyes, hoping that he would ask why she was suddenly dizzy. But Dad furiously wrinkled his eyebrows. At first it was you who said you had the ability to take care of Ching Ching. That's why I let you live in the mansion. But now you don't even have the ability to pull a 5-year-old. Is it hard to ask Xiaobao to take care of you who is prone to dizziness in turn? Lily Green looked at Dad with an injured face. Listen to my explanation. The doctor said I am pregnant because of. Dad directly raised his hand and looked at Lily Green with a stern gaze. At the beginning you swore that if Ching Ching is hurt for 1 point, You will be hurt for 10 points. Lily Green's face turned white. You listened to Mia before she had time to open her mouth. The executive assistant beside Dad violently lifted up a slap and knocked Lily Green to the ground. Lily Green was shocked and immediately opened her mouth to reprimand. What gives you the right to hit me? She looked at Dad expectantly, but did not even share a look. Dad, full of eyes only sleeping but pale me, blue eyes or heartbroken, began to redden. Executive assistant secretly in love with Dad for 10 years, but never dared to show half a point. She has long wanted to clean up Lily Green. This time Dad is obviously to give her a lesson. Executive assistant snapped. Dozens of slaps did not stop at all, until Lily Green's flowery cheeks were beaten high and swollen only to stop. The sharp nails on Lily Green's face left cat scratch marks. Dad glanced at Lily Green coldly. This is a lesson for you. Next time, you don't have to stay in this world. Lily Green shivered and suddenly remembered that Dad was the only dominant person operating in shady circles. Suddenly, she remembered that Dad was the only one who was operated in shady circles. And Lily Green seemed to be the only woman who stayed in the mansion, the only woman who was close to Dad. In reality, she's just a senior nanny taking care of me, and letting me get hurt is her biggest dereliction of duty. Dad sighed in relief after checking that I only had contusions and bruises on my body, completely unaware that at this moment I've turned into a fool. Lily Green thought that the few slaps she had just received were a lesson in her dereliction of duty that had caused me to become a fool, not realizing that it was just an appetizer. She went alone to find a doctor to give her face medicine, for fear of leaving scars and not being able to seduce Dad. When she returned to the hospital room after applying the medicine, I was looking at Dad with a demented look on my face, drooling, and kept on ABA. Dad snapped his eyes wide open. Bow. What's wrong with you? Are you playing a game with Dad? I was unresponsive, and grinned as I climbed off the bed and burrowed underneath it. By now, a horrible conjecture surfaced in Dad's mind. Lily Green saw Dad's panicked look and thought he had no experience with children. Immediately, she couldn't wait to show herself. It's okay. It's normal for little treasure to look like this. I'll take care of it. Lily Green disgustedly glanced at the saliva that was flowed all over the ground by me, but still pretended not to care and kneeled by the bed to call out my name. Xiao Bao. Quickly come out from under the bed. It's very dirty inside. Oh. Hurry up and come out. Oh. Lily Green clamped her voice and deliberately cocked her buttocks in the direction of Dad. I sneered in the bottom of my heart and continued to pretend to be demented. Bang. With a loud bang, Lily Green was kicked violently. Too late to react. Dad grabbed Lily Green by the collar. What's normal? What do you mean it's fine? Lily Green's lips trembled. Is that Xiao Bao is very normal now. Cognitive impairment is pretty much the same. Drooling is not clean is very normal. You can never make a big fuss. Dad bit in the back of the groove teeth. Question. You mean to say, I was good in the morning, a daughter, now become intellectually disabled? Lily Green do not know why Dad had to ask again, but managed a strong nod. Right. Dad grabbed Lily Green's hair and slammed it into the ground, and Lily Green was instantly in pain. She let out a mournful wail, but none of them saved her. I hid under the bed and began to ABA sing Two Tigers. This is I once spit childish song. Always disdained to open his mouth. Dad heard, the anger in his heart even more. The force in his hand also completely did not restrain. In my previous life, when Dad came to visit me, I have been sleeping, so Dad on the spot did not know my real situation. It wasn't until Lily Green pretended to say that she had a miscarriage in order to save me that Dad learned everything. But by then I was already crying and saying that I only wanted Aunt Lily to be my mom, and I was dying for Dad to marry her. Although Dad was reckless and fierce, he was obedient to me. So Lily Green in my favor under the success of the marriage to Dad, and later also pretend to say to give me a servant. Lily Green compelled me to say that I must have a brother I can be. Dad continued to like. So I cried and Dad said I want a little brother, Dad afraid of their own 100 years later no one to take care of me. And so agreed to let Lily Green pregnant. But I didn't expect Lily Green to set the date of my death when she was pregnant. When I think of my past life, I hate it so much that I am about to gnash my teeth. Just when Lily Green was being beaten to death, I finally cried and crawled out to grab Dad's pants leg. Oh, don't beat Aunt Lily. Xiao Bao likes Aunt Lily. Dad was afraid of hurting me, and his raised palm violently stopped. Lily Green looked at me resentfully, obviously complaining about why I didn't open my mouth earlier. But her face is still very humble. Look to Dad. You hit me can, but don't let Xiao Bao see. She can't see me hurt. I'm afraid Xiao Bao left a shadow. Oh. People who don't know hear these words. Only afraid will think Lily Green put me as eyeball pain. Who would think that she is the culprit who harmed me into today's appearance? Dad see me drooling also want to protect Lily Green. Finally or a word did not say reach out and hugged me. Only after a long time did Dad say, does little treasure like Auntie Ching Ching a lot? Lily Green's eyes immediately erupted with a strange light, and she kept scowling towards me. I also did as she wished. Little treasure likes Auntie Ching Ching very much. Little treasure wants Auntie Ching Ching to be my mom. Can Dad marry Auntie Ching Ching? Lily Green, even though she had been beaten up by Dad, still looked at Dad with hope in her eyes. In the past, she used to make this expression, but now that she has been beaten up, her face is swollen and bruised, and with this expression, it will only make people feel disgusted and disgusted. Dad's eyes fell on her body for only a second, and then immediately looked at me with care and concern. Xiao Bao, are you sure? Looking at Lily Green's incessant suggestive lip-syncing, I almost couldn't hold back my laughter, but still nodded heavily towards Dad. Yes, I want Auntie Ching Ching to be my mom. Dad compromised and sighed. Okay, as long as Xiao Bao is happy, Dad is willing to give everything for you. Lily Green immediately showed her loyalty to Dad. I will definitely treat Little Treasure well. From now on Little Treasure is the apple of my eye. I will never let her suffer the slightest bit of aggravation. I tilted my head and naively looked at Lily Green. Really? Aunt Lily? Lily Green didn't even notice the sneer lurking in my eyes, and kept on saying nice things towards me. Dad hates it when other people intentionally flatter and please me. But he didn't say anything due to the fact that I was fond of Lily Green. But Grandma didn't give her a good face at all. When the servants of the mansion saw that Grandma had no respect for Lily Green, they immediately saw her stepping on the low. But she silently tolerated all of them. As in her previous life, Lily Green tried her best to induce me to tell her that she wanted a brother. I agreed to all of them, just as she wanted me to. When the doctor told me the baby was 4 weeks old, she wept with relief. She shed tears of relief, as if all the hard times had finally come to an end. At the wedding, Grandma was in a foul mood. Just as Dad was about to put a ring on Lily Green's finger, I looked up innocently and purely and asked Grandma. Aunt Lily said I'm a burden and to give me a brother to lean on. Grandma, what does burden mean? The whole room fell silent. Who didn't know that the capital city's van der Linde family's eldest young lady was favored by the entire family, and even if she turned out to be a fool, she was still the absolute heir to the family business. But this lowly goods who hasn't really married into the van der Linde family yet, actually dared to presume to overstep her position. Grandma's face sank at that moment. It's the kind of fool like her who destroys other people's families. You're not a burden. You're Grandma's treasure. Lily Green sweated like a pig, turned her head to look at me through clenched teeth and said, Xiao Bao, when did I ever say such a thing? You mustn't be bullshitting me. Saying that, she covered her stomach and looked at Dad with an aggrieved face. It's not like you don't know about Xiao Bao's condition nowadays. How can silly words be taken seriously? It must be who taught Little Treasure bad. Husband, you must not misunderstand me. Dad's face completely darkened. Silly words. Since my accident, The thing that Dad is most disgusted with is people saying that I am a fool. Lily Green started to get carried away since she thought she was carrying a baby in her belly. Honey, even if you don't want to admit it, it's true that Bo is no different from a fool today. But don't worry, when I give birth to a healthy child in the future, I will definitely let her help little Treasure properly. Lily Green's tone was condescending, as if she was handing out some favor to me. Grandma finally couldn't stand it anymore, and violently picked up the tea light in her hand and threw it at Lily Green. She simply didn't expect Grandma to do it straight away. With a bang, blood flowed directly down the corner of her forehead. Lily Green gritted her teeth and looked at Dad aggrievedly. I know Mom has always disliked me, but I am now pregnant with your child. Isn't Mom afraid of hurting my child like this? Ever since Mom was pissed off by Dad, Grandma and Dad's relationship had started to get not so good. She thought she could provoke the conflict between Dad and Grandma with the baby in her womb. However, she did not expect that Dad just coldly hooked up the corner of his lips. Mom is also something you can call out. Lily Green's face instantly turned white, but still her lips mumbled a few times. Husband. Me. Dad snorted disdainfully from his nostrils. The rings have not been exchanged. What kind of husband are you shouting? Dad did not care about the ring in his hand raised his eyes coldly with her stare. I laughed coldly and opened my mouth to add fuel to the fire. Grandma, what did Aunt Lily mean when she said fool? Is Xiao Bao a fool? Grandma immediately took me in her arms and coaxed. Little Treasure is not a fool. I asked again. Then who is a fool? Dad hooked a cool smile. Dad will show you in a minute. A nameless fear welled up from the bottom of Lily Green's heart, and she finally realized that she had said the wrong thing. No, I didn't mean to say that Ching Ching is a fool. You misunderstood me. She reached out to take Dad's hand despite her still bleeding forehead. But Dad only an icy cold sight. Lily Green was scared and froze in place. Grandma coughed lightly. All guests. I am really sorry. I am afraid that this wedding banquet cannot be eaten. I have prepared exquisite gifts for everyone. You can follow the staff to collect. All of the present are the old man and the luxury family. We would not hear that Grandma is ready to close the door to take good care of Lily Green. But the good show has just been staged. The hand hidden in her sleeve pressed a button. The curtain that had been projecting a picture of our family suddenly went out. The sound of a man and a woman panting was followed by the sound of Grandma covering my ears and asking someone to take me down. The guests on stage stared in shock. Because the female lead projected on the curtain is Lily Green, but the male lead is not Dad, but a fat-headed man. Those who knew Lily Green on stage immediately said in surprise, "Isn't this Lily Green's dad? This is Lily Green's boyfriend when she was in junior high school. This is Lily Green's boyfriend when she was in junior high school. A small-town tycoon. No, isn't Lily Green a good childhood confidant with Bao's mom? I remember they got acquainted when Lily Green was molested by a small-town tycoon and Bao's mom came to her rescue. Lily Green can't pretend to be calm anymore and looks at Dad in a hurry to defend herself. But Dad's executive assistant has been quick to cover Lily Green's mouth, but also let people put her dead on the ground. Lily Green porcelain complexion was stepped on the secretary's feet. Tears of humiliation fell, but there is no opportunity to beg for mercy. Grandma toned gloomy. I'd like to see how shameless you are. The ambiguous voice continued. Little leprechaun, does the unbeatable Mr. Fo know that you're carrying my child? He snapped a slap on Lily Green's curves. Lily Green let out a delicate exclamation of surprise and fond. I drugged him that night. He doesn't know anything, not to mention that this method is still the one you came up with for me. You want betray me, right? The man was smug to the core. When he was unwilling to cooperate with me, causing me to almost go bankrupt. Originally arranging for you to go to that stupid bastard's side was to give him a hard time. I didn't expect that you would actually be able to marry him. If he knew that the wife he had begged for thousands of dollars had long since been played with by me, I don't know if he would vomit blood in anger. The idiot they are talking about is none other than my mom. Lily Green didn't have money to pay her tuition, so my mom paid for her. But she felt Mom was high on the socialite pedestal to give her a handout. She was drunk and almost lost her virginity. Mom saved her. But she thinks Mom is the one who doesn't want her to have a good life and is deliberately sabotaging it. With Mom's nature, as long as Lily Green told Mom that she didn't need her help, Mom wouldn't force her to do it. But Lily Green didn't. She not only did not say anything, but also for the money to offer, while pleasing Mom to come in Dad's home. Lily Green intentionally stole Dad's important documents to Mom's ex-boyfriend. After a few deliberate provocations, Dad and Mom began to argue constantly. In the end, Mom chose to abandon everything and leave the country due to the unresolved misunderstandings. Because Lily Green has been without a mother since she was born. In my previous life, I had been following Lily Green after her death. I watched as she proudly told these deeds to Dad, irritating him to the point where his eyes were red, but he could only be impotent and furious. This rebirth, I'm not only going to make Lily Green pay the price she deserves. I also want to solve all the misunderstandings between Dad and Mom. I hid in the dark and watched Lily Green being pressed to the ground. The faces of Dad and Grandma were very grim. The screen began to switch again. The camera shifted to the day I fell down the stairs. Lily Green couldn't get close to Dad because he had no interest in her after she moved into the mansion. In order to marry into the Van der Linde family as soon as possible, Lily Green often turned off the electric switch on the pretext that I didn't know what to do, and then quietly brought the men to the bedroom to have sex. But what she didn't know was, in the estates of the top gentry, the surveillance is on a separate power supply. Just in case. So, when the surveillance complete show Lily Green is how to bring the man to the bedroom, and even the door is not yet closed before the beginning of the officer, Dad's face has been ugly can eat people. Because Dad saw tiny me approaching that room with a rag doll in my arms. Even though this video is just a record of what happened a long time ago. Dad and Grandma still unanimously sweated for me. The guests under the stage whispered, "This woman has too much guts, right? The nannies and maids are all downstairs." But she didn't even close the door. It's so disgusting. I'm going to grow pinholes just looking at it. It's not because Missy saw them doing this kind of thing that Lily Green is killing Missy, is it? I'm going to say, how did the good Missy become like this? Listening to their conjectures, Dad could no longer hold back and raised his foot to step on Lily Green's hand. Lily Green's face turned blue with pain, and her mouth was covered when she tried to make a sound. Only the sound of painful whimpering signaled the torture she suffered. But Dad didn't stop. Instead, he crushed the back of her hand with the hardest of shoes until the sound of cracking bones came and Dad lifted his foot. Lily Green thought the torture was over. But with the curtain image of her and her adulterer together reasonably threw me out of the window at the moment. Dad violently lifted his foot and crushed on her other hand. Grandma looked at Dad and said, "I can't see too bloody scene. Leave it to you to deal with it. Just save your breath. Directly killed rather boring. Treat this kind of people. Must be drawn and quartered to really relieve the anger." As Grandma left, Lily Green's other hand also made a clicking sound of fracture breaking. This time, she completely fainted from the pain. There were thousands of guests in the room, but not a single one of them spoke up for her. Because everyone saw what Lily Green did. There were many of them who had family children. How could they endure their children being treated like that? Dad's face sank as he slowly pushed down a champagne tower. With a crackling sound, the tower of wine fell as far as it could go onto Lily Green. The alcohol eats away at her wounds, and she wakes up in severe pain. However, just after awakening, she was stomped by Dad's foot heavily on her abdomen. She opened her eyes roundly and begged bitterly, "What's in my belly is indeed your flesh and blood. Please don't do this. Let me go, please." But Dad to her plea for blind. He waved his hand to order people to fetch the most intense wine. Mercilessly break open Lily Green's mouth. Forced into, "Only Small Treasure is my only child. I am ready to keep you as a mascot to coax Small Treasure happy. How do not know good or bad? Little treasure is also worthy of you to move. With a bang, the wine bottle opened. The white wedding dress was dyed red with blood and liquor. Seeing that Dad was going to kill, Lily Green immediately knelt in front of Dad with difficulty. I was also forced. I was just a poor student with nothing in the beginning. I was really forced. I did count you, but I really love you. You believe me. My stomach is really your child. I said those words are only to confuse that man. Lily Green was sincere, but Dad didn't believe her. Not only Dad. Even all the people in the room do not believe that her baby is Dad's. But only I know that Lily Green's baby is not his. But only I know, Lily Green, this child is indeed Dad's. Because in her previous life, Lily Green gave birth to a child that looked very similar to Dad. Originally, Grandma also suspected the identity of the child. Looking for someone to do a dozen times paternity test also shows no problem before holding his nose to recognize the grandchildren. Lily Green voice are almost crying. Dad just careless said, by someone. But he also said it was instructed by someone. In the end, you who instructed who? There was a creak and the door was pushed open. The man who had just appeared in the video was bound and pinned and kneeling in front of Dad. As soon as he saw Dad, he immediately started shivering with a pale face. Dad snorted. Dare to do it. Dare not do it. The man shook his head in panic. No. I didn't do it. I'm just an accomplice. Lily Green also struggled to speak. He made me do it. I was used by him. They were clearly stinking jackals and tigers, both harboring evil intentions but not daring to admit it. Pouring dirty water on each other's bodies. Speaking later, the man violently slapped Lily Green in the face. Bitch. When you begged me to sleep with you, why didn't you say you were forced to? Obviously it was you who wanted to rise to the top as Mrs. Foam. And now you want to dump all the pots on me. Dream on. Lily Green is also not willing to show weakness. It was you who used money to force me to be with you in the first place. How could I possibly like a fathead pig like you? Lily Green, who was already injured, was pushed back and fell to the ground. The pieces of champagne tower that broke on the ground penetrated into her skin, instantly staining a large area of the carpet. Lily Green was in pain and couldn't make a sound, as if something underneath her body was about to leave her. Lily Green looked at Dad in fear. Mr. Foam, please send me to the hospital. The child in my stomach is really your flesh and blood. I can do the prenatal paternity test. This child is really yours. Dad looked at Lily Green calmly, not moving at all. The hatred in Lily Green's eyes could no longer be controlled. She hissed in a harsh voice, you will regret if you don't save me. Xiao Bao is a fool. That's the only healthy child you have in my belly. There's no way the van der Linde family would want a fool for an heir. You have to take me to the hospital. Dad looked at Lily Green and just found her exceptionally ridiculous. I'm only 32 years old, powerful and rich. Do you think there would be a shortage of children if I wanted to have one? Lily Green froze in place. Over the years, there had never been a shortage of women rushing to have children for Dad. But there have never been any illegitimate children appearing in front of everyone's eyes. With my existence, naturally it can't be that Dad has physical problems. It could only be that Dad didn't want to give birth. In the next second, Dad spoke carelessly. So what if it's my child? As those words fell, Lily Green just felt something slip out from between her legs. She looked at Dad with trembling lips. You'll definitely regret this. Bo is just a fool. You're going to regret this. Dad, can I borrow your cell phone? I held Grandma's hand and looked firmly and graciously at Dad. Dad's pupils quaked, seeming a little incredulous and a little overjoyed. I stepped steadily, crisply shouted again, Dad, can you lend me your cell phone? The tone was calm and normal, without any stuttering. Anyone with eyes could tell that I wasn't stupid at all. Lily Green couldn't believe the picture in front of her. No way. Aren't you an idiot? You're obviously a fool. She was pinned to the ground and couldn't move at all. Only her eyes shot this way with indignation. Dad finally came back to his senses and let the executive assistant hand over the cell phone to me by hand. I dialed 110. Hello. Is this the police, uncle? There are weird uncle and weird aunt throwing me down from the 3rd floor. Can you arrest them? When the police heard this, they immediately asked for the address in a serious and earnest manner. It took less than 10 minutes to arrive at the scene. And Lily Green and the adulterer had already been changed into clean clothes and tied in place waiting for the police to come. When the police saw the injuries on both of them, they were a bit surprised. Grandma sighed and said with a sad face, "They harmed my only granddaughter." My son didn't hold back his hand for a moment. "We are willing to make compensation, but we also ask you to deal with this issue of intentional homicide first." Grandma placed a USB flash drive in the hands of the police. This is the entire process of their crime. A direct copy, without any editing. You can verify it. Cold handcuffs were placed on their wrists. Lily Green's eyes froze for a moment, and she looked at me incredulously. "Aren't you dead? I have obviously given birth to my son. How is it possible?" Everyone was uncertain. Only I knew that Lily Green had also been reborn. Just now. I innocently looked at her and said in a voice that only 2 people could hear, "Unfortunately, Aunt Lily, you're too late." Oh, Lily Green's eyes widened in anger, and she suddenly frantically began to struggle while yelling, "They beat me. They lynched me. They're going to jail too. I will never settle." But Dad just cocked his head. "Didn't you fall like that yourself?" The thousands of guests also spoke in unison. "You obviously fell like this yourself, but you want to plant evidence on someone else. You're no less than a vicious murderer. There was no surveillance." Everyone's confessions were unified, and Lily Green didn't have the slightest evidence, so she could only let the police take the 2 of them away. Dad bankrupted the adulterer with a single sentence. The attempted murder was a nail in the coffin, and a 20-year prison sentence was inevitable. Lily Green's family cut ties with her when they learned of this, and took a settlement of $30,000 from Dad, understanding that Dad had accidentally pushed Lily Green's faults. Lily Green in prison hated to vomit blood, but can only pickpocket prison bars shouting injustice. The female inmates in her dormitory were so noisy that they couldn't sleep at all, and grabbed Lily Green by the hair and started a new round of beatdown, while I jumped off the stage and jumped into the arms of a woman wearing a duck-tongued hat. At the time the police took Lily Green away, Mom, who in a previous life was hiding on the stage watching Dad marry Lily Green, had her face covered by a duck-tongued hat and was already tear-stained, and she hugged me heartily. "I'm sorry. Mom didn't know you'd suffered so much. I thought you were being taken care of very well." In fact, Dad and Mom have never forgotten each other. Only too many misunderstandings. But now the misunderstandings have all been solved. Even Lily Green's theft of Dad's self-indulgent tissues to take to the hospital for test tubes has been investigated clearly. Grandma was moved to tears as they were finally able to be together without any burden. Privately, Mom had said to me, after going out for a walk, "I have my own career in cognizance, and I am no longer afraid of losing. What's more, all of your dad's financial lifelines are under my hand, and with him I can still be there for you. And even if I don't love him anymore in the future, I can still leave in style. So don't ever be burdened with the fact that Mom is choosing what is happiest and best for her. To get you back, Mom is willing to give it all together." Heart was hit instantly. I looked at Mom incredulously. Could she also? Mom looked at me and smiled. I cried tears of joy. It turned out that my rebirth is not occasional. It is Mom and heaven to do the exchange. In my past life, I finally found Mom who really loves me. Full text finished.